Okay.
Ready?
Okay, now
When
stop.
you're ready,
Yeah.
okay?
I'm ready. Okay.
There was a family called Kadar. And they lived in Syria. And they couldn't get out of Syria. But they used to allow one member of the family out, and the rest of the family had to remain in prison in Syria. And if that man did not return, if he had business outside of Syria, and if he did not return, they would have to stay in prison, and eventually they would be killed. You know? That was the Syrian Lashoin. So I had good connections with leaders of the government of Syria, and I was meshachet them. I paid them bribery. So they let families, Jewish families in Syria out. How did they get out? They went across the border from Syria into Turkey. They wouldn't let them go to Eretz Yisrael, of course, but they let them out. They went across the border to Turkey. So, Mr. Kadar was already out, but his children and his wife went across the border into Turkey. I had good connections with certain people in Syria, and they helped them get out of Syria into Turkey. They had no permission to go into Turkey. The Turkish government did not give them a visa or anything. So I had to bribe Turkish officials to let them stay in Turkey, and then to get airplanes from Turkey into Europe. So they took flights from Turkey into Europe, from where they managed to get flights to Great Britain. And so they all got out alive. Otherwise they would all have been killed in Syria. They would all have been killed in Syria.
Any
What?
nothing?
Details.
What?
Any details about the story?
With how I got them out? Well, I had friends. They don't want their names mentioned. I had friends. I used to go to Syria myself. And I used to be meshachet them.
One second. Okay, you can go through.
I went to the prisons, the Batei Hakele. The prisons in Syria were terrible. They were deep holes in the ground in which those prisoners were kept. And they got them up, and they got them out. It all cost me money and connections. And from there, they had gone out to the border, and then I had to go there, and at the border I had to be meshachet the border guards, and they let them out of Syria and they got to Turkey. In Turkey I was busy being meshachet the authorities in Turkey who let them come into Turkey. And then I had to be meshachet the army near the airport to let them go on the airplanes to come out of Turkey. And that's how they got to Great Britain. So that's the story. When they got to Great Britain, I wasn't going to take them out of Turkey so that they could come to Great Britain. And I wouldn't want them to go to Europe or to other countries, but only Great Britain. They couldn't go to Eretz Yisrael, where I could see to it that their 6 children would get a proper Jewish education and not become goyim. And there in Great Britain, I got them into the Jewish schools for which I raised the money, and they all became frum Jews. They weren't Shomrei Torah and mitzvahs in Syria. And now they're all frum Jews. Some of them are in Eretz Yisrael now, but they all became Shomrei Torah and mitzvahs. The result of the education they got in Great Britain. Nice story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a bit on top, kind of.
What?
Many details, but